The voice inside your head is not yours. Wittgenstein. It's 2 a.m. You're lying in bed, and the voice won't shut up. It's replaying that thing you said at work, the awkward one. You know the one. And now it's going over it again and again, changing the words, imagining what you should have said instead. Then it jumps to tomorrow. What could go wrong? What people might think. You think that voice is you, your real thoughts, your honest self, finally talking without a filter. But here's something weird. That voice, you didn't make it. You didn't choose it. And most of what it says, you got from other people before you were old enough to decide whether any of it was true. Wittgenstein, one of the most important philosophers who ever lived, figured something out about language that completely changes how you think about your own mind. He said there's no such thing as a private language. Every word you use, even the ones you only say inside your head, came from someone else first. So the voice you think of as you, it's actually a mix of your parents, your teachers, your friends, and your culture, all talking at once. And you've been treating that mix like it's your own opinion this entire time. That's not bad news. That's actually the beginning of freedom. Because once you hear whose voice it really is, you can decide if you still agree with it. Section 1. Where your inner voice actually comes from. Watch a little kid, 3 years old, alone in a room. They're talking to themselves out loud. Don't touch that, it's hot. We don't hit. Good job. Listen closely. Those aren't their words. Those are things adults said to them, word for word. Same tone, same rhythm. The kid is just repeating what they heard. Now here's what happens next. Over a few years, that out loud talking goes silent. The kid stops saying it and starts thinking it. And we call that thinking. We act as if thinking in words is just what brains naturally do. But that's not what happened. What happened is the kid took other people's words and moved them inside their own head. Their thinking didn't start as something private. It started as their mom talking, their dad talking, their teacher talking. They just heard it so many times that it started to feel like their own. A psychologist named Vygotsky proved this. Your inner voice is internalized social speech. That's the technical term. But in simple words, your thoughts started as other people talking, and you practiced them so much they became silent and felt like you. So try this. Listen to your inner voice right now. Not the sound. Listen to what it says. What does it criticize you for? What does it expect from you? Where did those expectations come from? If you trace it back far enough, you'll find someone. A parent, a teacher, a coach. Their words are still running in your head. You just stopped noticing they were borrowed. Section 2. Some people don't even have one. This is where it gets really interesting. Not everyone has an inner voice. A researcher named Russell Hurlburt spent decades studying how people actually think, and he found that somewhere between 30 and 50% of people don't have a constant voice in their head. Some people think in pictures, some think in feelings, some think in ways they can barely describe, like ideas just show up fully formed, without any words attached. If you're someone who has a strong inner voice, that sounds impossible. You're probably thinking, how would they even function? How do they make decisions? How do they plan their day? They do it fine. Some of them do it better than you. And that's the part that matters. Because if thinking required words, people without inner speech couldn't think. But they think perfectly well. So your inner voice isn't thinking for itself. It's just one way of thinking. The way that happens is to carry the most baggage from other people. Because words always come from someone else first. Your gut feelings are yours. Your visual imagination is yours. Those moments when you just know something without being able to explain it, those are yours. But the voice narrating everything judging everything, worrying about everything. That's running on borrowed software. Section 3. The voice that criticizes you the most. Let's talk about the inner critic. You know this one. You're not good enough. That was stupid. Everyone noticed. We treat this voice like it's the most honest part of us. It sees something real about us that we're trying to hide from the world. We almost trust it more than the kind voice. But here's the thing. That critic has an origin story, and it's not you. Think about it. Where did "you're not good enough" come from? Was it a parent who got disappointed by your grades? A teacher who corrected you in front of the class? An older sibling who made fun of you for trying? A coach who thought shame was good motivation? You heard their words. You absorbed their tone. You replayed it enough times that it stopped sounding like them and started sounding like you. But if you really pay attention, if you listen to the specific phrases, the specific standards, the specific expectations, you can still hear the original speaker underneath. Your inner critic isn't your honest assessment of yourself. It's someone else's voice, on repeat, using their standards from years ago. And you never questioned whether they were right. You just kept listening. Next time that voice starts up, and it will, don't argue with it. That just keeps the conversation going. Instead, ask one question. Whose words are those? Originally. If you can name the person, you can decide whether they still deserve that much power over how you see yourself. Section 4. The language that shapes your reality. People who speak two languages report something strange. They feel like different people depending on which language they're thinking in. In English, someone might feel direct and assertive. In Japanese, the same person feels more careful about social harmony. In Spanish, warmer. In German, more precise. Same brain, different language, different personality. That's not random. Language doesn't just give you words for things. It gives you categories. It tells your brain what matters and what doesn't. Russian has two completely different words for light blue and dark blue. Not shades of the same color, different colors entirely. And Russian speakers actually see those colors differently. Their brains react differently. The language changed what their eyes could see. Wittgenstein said something famous. The limits of my language mean the limits of my world. People usually hear that as depressing, like we're trapped. But it's actually just describing how your mind works. You can only think clearly about things you have words for. Your emotions, your plans for the future, your memories, they're all shaped by the vocabulary you were given. So here's a question. What feelings do you have that you can't name? You know the ones. That thing in your chest that sits somewhere between lonely and peaceful. That mix of excitement and dread. That feeling you get when someone you love does something that makes you proud and jealous at the same time. Those feelings are real, but your language doesn't have boxes for them, so they stay fuzzy, hard to think about, hard to deal with. And that's why learning new words, real new concepts, not just bigger vocabulary, actually changes your inner life. You're not just learning to describe things better, you're learning to experience things you couldn't experience clearly before. Section 5. Choosing your own voice. So what do you do with all this? I'm not going to give you affirmations. I'm not going to tell you to reprogram your subconscious with positive thinking. You've heard that advice. If it worked, you wouldn't be watching this. The real work is simpler and harder than that. You start listening, actually listening to what your inner voice says. And you start asking where it came from. When it tells you you're lazy, is that you, or is that your dad? When it says your ambition is selfish, who taught you that? When it says you should be further along in life by now, whose timeline are you following? Most of what your inner voice says is old recordings, phrases from people who shaped you before you could push back. And you've been hitting play on those recordings every day, thinking they were live. Wittgenstein wasn't saying you should escape language. You can't. Language is how you think. But he was saying, pay attention to which language you're using. Notice which games you're playing. Notice which rules you're following that you never agreed to. And then, slowly, because this part takes time, start choosing. Not choosing to be free of other people's influence. That's impossible. But choosing which influences you keep, which voices get to stay loud, which ones can finally turn down. You'll never have a completely original thought. Every word you think in came from somewhere else. But you can pick which words you keep thinking about. And that might be the most important choice you'll ever make. The voice in your head has been running your whole life. It sounds like you because you've been hearing it so long. But it's a mix. Your parents, your teachers, your culture, your childhood, all blended together into something that feels like one voice. Wittgenstein showed there's no private language. Your most personal thoughts are built from public material. But that's not a sad ending. It's actually where the good part starts. Because once you hear the different voices mixed in there, once you can tell which thought belongs to your mother and which one belongs to your old teacher and which one you actually chose, you get something you didn't have before. A choice. Not what to think, but whose voice to think it in.